Closing is always easy when you're in Cardone U. We role play with Grant Cardone's team. They know just what to do. They're always there to support us. We couldn't ask for more. On our way in the right direction, we found what we're looking for. In FLC, in FLC. Closing is better with appointment setters. You'd better believe we're not a team but a family. We work together in harmony. We are devoted, and that you can quote me in FLC. We welcome the newbies gladly. We know there's so much to learn. We've got your back for a lifetime. There's no need for concern. Just look at the world around you. There's deals to close everywhere. And if you face an objection, what would Jabari say? In FLC, in FLC, objections are easy. If you don't believe me, I have to agree. We can role play at any time. To disagree, that is a crime. We're practicing to get the cha-chings in FLC. In FLC. Since we started training, our leads ain't complaining. They're so happy. We get to role play with Big Brother Dave. We've got Coach Sean, the best coach ever born in FLC. All of our closers, they keep their composure. 10X is the goal, Uncle G, well he knows. We've got the spirit, and you've got to hear it. We're FLC.
Hey guys, hi, thank you so much for joining in. This is Misty, obviously. This is our beautiful other side, Shivaria.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So guys, Josie's having a few technical issues, which is fine. We all go through those moments. So she'll be back next week, stronger, better than ever. And we love you, Josie, always and forever.
Yes.
So today we're going to do part 2 of the time management and success rituals. I do want to do a little bit of a recap just in case you either didn't catch last week's live or you just couldn't hear it very well. Also, I have a few questions I want to ask Chibaria because Chibaria is so awesome and amazing, and the growth and everything that we have experienced in FLC is huge. And I really want to be able to share that because not only do we learn these things, we implement them, practice them, and then we can bring them to you and share them with you and say, hey, look, I did this myself and it really works. And this is how it works. And so I really want to go through that and have a few questions for you, Jabari, if that's okay.
Of course. Absolutely. And I'm so excited to be here again. I always love it to be here. And even today, I was not actually going to make it here today, but universe made it happen that I could make it here, and I'm so excited to be here. So thank you so much, Misty and Josie, for everything that you guys do for the entire Smile community and everybody else who's watching this on different platforms for putting out so much value. So I just want to say thank you, and I'm excited to be here again.
Yes, thank you. So time management. We have been learning that with the Cardone team, and I think it's huge. And the way I've seen that, I know you have implemented a lot in learning, what we're going through and everything, and implemented that into your life and into your business. And so when he says, the first thing he says is to time management, take control of time, don't manage your time. Yeah. So what do you think that means what would that mean to you?
So making the conscious decision on how you are going to prioritize things and how you're going to take things that don't serve you out. And I'm going to be honest, this has been one of the biggest learnings for me in my life. And, this has always come back because I'm kind of like fanatic. So whenever I do something, I go all in, and then I go all in with crazy hours. And sometimes I, in that equation, forget to look after myself. But what has really been super powerful is with everything that my parents have been inspiring me to do, and you guys for the FLC core fam, and then the Cardone guys. Now everything is lining up. It's like, no, you have to control your time and you have to take charge. And I think that is it. So you literally make that decision. I want change, and I want to be able to choose what I'm going to use my time for. And I want to choose it in a way that it brings me closer to my goals. So that is what controlling time means to me. And I'm just quickly checking what the puppies are doing whilst they are controlling their time.
I saw them. They were playing in the background.
Okay, so this is what happens there behind the scenes. Yeah, carry on.
Once a puppy mom, always a puppy mom. You're always looking out for the puppies. I know mine is. I've got mine right next to me. She won't leave me alone.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Because in the UK everything is like so beautifully with fall, everything is like all the leaves are falling. So when we're outside, we tend to play with leaves. But then they think like it's a game always. So this is a leaf from an
Mhm.
in-house plant. So I think they were like, oh, this we can play the same game. Let's grab the leaf, and then they're running behind each other. Oh my gosh. So yeah, sorry for that.
No worries. And I really, this is one big question I really thought was important, and I wanted to ask you. Grant Cardone is always talking about how you should be obsessed with your business and always doing business and always have it on your mind and everything else. And we know that he is a family man. And his second point was make quality time for your family every day. And you are very involved with your family. And I wanted to know, from your point of view, how do you, and not just, let me write, I wrote it down here.
Yeah.
I thought I wrote it down. I guess not.
You
But
look
anyway,
beautiful, by the way. Like you're always looking beautiful, but you're looking extra stunning today. I love it.
thank you. I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody, even though it's like, I showered.
Nice.
I shower every day, but you always
Yeah.
see me in the morning,
Yeah.
before I shower. So it's like I shower.
I love that. That's so beautiful. It's authentic beauty. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I keep thinking that when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't see like my mom calls them the jowls and then the high cheekbones and everything. And then I get on here and it's like, I look so old and wrinkled and it's like,
Oh no, not
whatever.
at all. You look absolutely stunning. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, back to the question.
Mhm.
So you are also very business oriented, and I wanted to know, you're very business oriented, but you also make time for your family. And
Yeah.
I wanted to know about how do you do that? How do you keep so much focus on the business and still focus so much on your family and making sure that they know that they're loved and important to you as much as your business is? I mean, do you have to find a certain balance is there in that, or how do you do that?
Yeah, I think even in that I really want to give, well, how do you say, not take credit but give credit to my family for all of us being on the same page in this. And I think Grant Cardone mentions that as well in the Cardone You training, about how important it is that when you have a certain goal that you want to achieve, that you get everyone on the same page and that everybody understands what we're doing here and how we're working together to make that happen, where we're supporting each other, and when something is needed, how different people can be part of that and can help in that way. And that's something that I really feel so blessed about with my family, because we do everything together. And so the businesses that we own is also like all family businesses, and also like what you can see with our core, we don't even call it a team, we call it core families. Like it is family oriented, really close connections. And in that's the same principle, that you do it as a family, you do it together. And it does means that sometimes there are, how do you say, priorities, and that's maybe sometimes like sacrifices, as some people would say, because there's times for real extreme focus, and then when you do that extreme focus, you might not be doing something else. Guys, what are you doing? Hey, sorry, bear with me 1 second.
No worries. So while she's doing that, yeah, Garrett Cardone says make quality time for your family. So basically, you want to not only have be business oriented, but you want to make sure that when you're in business, that whatever you're doing, you want to be able to have your family on the same page with you. You want them to be involved and know what you're doing. Yeah, there will have to be sacrifices here and there, but you really want to make sure that you're not missing out on the important things, and your family knows how important they are to you. Back
Yeah.
to you, Maria.
Yeah. No. What I was saying is that some people may see these things as like sacrifices and saying those words, but it doesn't really always feel like that when you know what you're doing it for and what you do together. So, for instance, for me, I personally don't really like to go out or stuff like that, like go to the club and party and that sort of stuff. But some people may feel that if you're not able to do these things, then that's a sacrifice, because instead of that, I find myself studying or growing the business or working on it or calling clients and that sort of stuff. And Goku attests to that. Today we have a very busy day because loads is happening. So you can see the behind the scenes of a busy day where the puppies are also going through some really exciting things, which you guys will see later on. But yeah, it's like, how do you view it? What's your perspective? And the things that you then choose are also being paid off in a different way, in a different abundant way. So you may choose not to, well, I personally may choose not to go to a club, but instead I have the freedom to go to 5 million clubs if I would want to, but that's still not something that I choose. But it's like you're choosing right now as a time for focus, and then it brings forth so much more freedom and so many more things that you can do at a later stage or in the stage as the growth is happening. So with all of that, my beliefs and my family and all of that is 100% in the same on the same page, and we're doing all of this together, and without my family wouldn't be able to be anywhere where I am today. And the same holds for you guys, our FLC core family, which to me is family. So that's yeah, we're all in this together, basically. Don't know if that
Yeah.
answers your question in a long-winded way.
No, that works.
Yeah.
I myself am not one to go to clubs either. I mean, we have so many opportunities, and people are like, "Let's go party and get drunk," and
Yeah.
it's like, that sounds fantastic, but it's just not who I am.
Mm.
And I choose to live my life in a different manner, which is fine. Everybody
Yeah.
lives their life differently, but
Yeah.
making that quality time for your family and still being able to maintain your focus on your business and knowing the right times to be focused on your business and
Mhm.
having the family time is important.
Yeah.
And being able to schedule those so you have that, and I don't want to say balanced, but you have everybody's taken care of and everything is in order.
Yeah.
So we've been learning about statistics and keeping statistics on everything.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, how have you implemented that in the business, and how has
Mm.
that benefited you?
Okay, so it's literally being able to hammer numbers and multiply as much as you can in every place where there's room for multiplication without losing the
Sorry,
steady
you're saying
growth.
multiplication, and I'm getting all excited because I know what we're doing, and I'm like, I'm so
Yeah.
excited for it.
I love that. You're so amazing. Yeah. So basically, when it comes to like statistics, if you just look at the simplest statistics in terms of um when do people buy, right? So for anybody watching this, if you're having a business and you want to scale, take note of these numbers. So what are the percentages of when people buy from you? So 2% of people buy on the first call, and this is like considering all cold people. So 2% of people buy on the first call, then additional 3% will buy on the second call, an additional 5% will buy on the third call, an additional 10% will buy on the fourth call, and then 80% of the sales is made in between the fifth and the 12th follow up, basically, or fifth and 12th call. So where is this coming in, and what are we doing? We're literally, as much as possible, being in the numbers. So being relentless in contacting people, adding value, being present everywhere. Like, this is one of the places where we're being present, and on also social channels. And then on top of that, hammering the phone and calling people and speaking to people, not just one time but multiple different times. And then on top of that, also having automation to take part of that. So being an aggressive marketer and sending loads of emails that have value and that are going to be able to change a person's life one at a time. And then on top of that, having a power team or a power crew with whom we're doing all of this together. So it's literally adding multiplication on so many different levels that, yes, like, I don't know who that is listening in, but yes, being an octopus, right? That
Josie.
literally is like with all, oh, Josie, like with all the arms. Josie, we miss you. Today you guys got to do with me. We don't have the mighty Josie today. So, but like being like that. So that's one way. Another way where I think for me it has really been massively impactful is just in my own thought process. So knowing the statistics, then you also know, if you focus, Seb says this all the time, right? If you focus on activity, then results will come 100%. So just having that ultimate trust that if you just focus on hitting the numbers, then there's going to be a huge influx of results as long as you keep on going. And that has played a huge part in my own personal mind and view of the business and view of the scalability of the business and the time scale within which we're going to achieve certain things, but also in the communication that we have within our core fam, and besides that, our communication with the students, so that they are getting more and more and more results. So it's like it's playing a part on every single level. It's playing a part in the mind, in the belief, in the heart, in the conviction, in the execution, in the communication, in the togetherness of that, the support when sometimes one is down, another person picks the person up, because we all know the same thing. But you know, as life comes, there's the storms of life. So having it so ingrained now in our culture, internal culture in the core fam, but also culture within the entire community of students, that has been massively valuable. And it all stems from one and the same thing, just basic statistics. So that's
Yeah.
my answer.
I am so excited about that. I keep thinking about the statistics, and like you said, that said, says just focus on getting the numbers in, and then
Yeah.
and doing the productivity, and then later everything will come in.
Yeah.
And I find myself with the numbers I'm getting up to and hitting, I'm sitting there thinking, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. You got to have patience. Just keep going. Everything's going to come in. You just got to keep going. And I'm like sitting there wondering when. I hope really, really fast, but it'll all get here. So
Mhm.
I'm super excited though about everything.
Yeah. So can I say one thing about that? Because what you're sharing here is a very good point, and I personally have had exactly the same question, and that doesn't get old. Like, no matter how many closes you've made, how much success in business, these questions, when and will it happen, it's very good that you're mentioning that, because everybody who's watching this or will be watching the replay will go through the same thing. And it's just a normal thing to think and to feel. But then it's also very important that, even though you recognize that you're feeling that or you're thinking that you do put it in the back seat, and that you operate with full conviction and trust. Because if your operation or your action taking is with a question mark, then the results are coming with a question mark. But if you say, okay, yes, I'm wondering, I'm excited, will it happen, will it not happen, and then you're like, okay, normal to think that. Sit in the back seat, please. Thank you so much. Let's go. It's happening. And you reconnect yourself with that future. Then the way how you execute is different. It carries a different energy. The message that you send will have a different energy. Therefore, it will be picked up differently. The call that you're making has different energy. So yes, numbers is one thing. And even if you had the lowest energy and you still hit the numbers, it's still going to take off. But if you want it really, really fast, then it's also having the numbers, but also having the trust. You can trust yourself. You can trust the statistics, you can trust the universe or whatever you believe in. And you have to see it in this way, or I would suggest to see it in this way. Just imagine this: you go through life and you're doing everything that you have done, and you just fast forward to the future. And in the future, now you have received all these results, and you're like, man, I've made it. And I now know that this stuff works. Then you're coming back and you already know that it will work. Operate with that certainty, but also operate that you can even add up a little bit more because you went to that future still having some doubts, but still you made it. Now you can have a do-over, but the do-over, you know it will work and you'll make it, but you can even speed it up by having more conviction because you now know that it works. Because if you know that it would work, you would be like, oh man, easy peasy, let's go. Ooh, hello. And you do it that way. So now when you do that visualization and you just go to the future and you see, hey, it works, that's so cool. And then you go back and then you do it with that conviction, that's even more powerful. So I would add that to the mix. That's something that my dad used to tell me in chess, to basically go towards the end and then coming back and then redo it. There's a lot of power in that. And then that way, the second time around, you don't have to worry anymore because, it's cool.
Yeah.
The second time.
Yeah, I find myself when I start having that doubt of when or is this going to work out, I stop myself and refocus on what I'm doing to keep going and keep that energy going, because I'm not even going to worry about when or if. I know that what I'm doing is right, and I know it's going to pay off.
That's powerful.
So, and that's all I have to focus on, and that's where I go from there.
Yeah,
So,
I love that. Very powerful. Thank you for sharing.
So, the next one is, his next point was keep a full calendar. Now, I know that you have mentioned what Cardone has said, the devil's in the white space. Yeah. And I know you have taken that and started using that. So my question is, I guess it's a two-part question. Can you kind of explain to everybody else what that means and how you've, I guess three-part, what it means, how you've implemented it, and are you seeing results from that?
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. 100% yes. And I think I've even gone, and I think everybody in the core fam would, how you say, vouch for that. I've taken it to a little bit of an extreme in a way. But so basically what it means is that what happens is that if you just make sure that you're constantly in activity mode, then there's no room for doubt, there's no room for distractions, because you're constantly in the doing, and it's in the doing where the results. Oh, wow. Pardon. Thank you, I'm excited. Anyways, so
you have to come out, you're just gonna burst out, you're okay.
So so if you're keep being busy, then you know that from all those activities the results will come, because again, it's a numbers game and it's also activity game, and then that will come. But also looking at the other side of it, when is it that most people are not finding success, or when people take themselves out of the game, or when people choose not to continue and quit, and thereby feel as if it's failure. But if you actually just would go on, then it wouldn't be a failure. But it's like doing it in that way, that's in the moments where there's nothing to do. So most of the time what happens is, let's say if you have one thing in the morning and one thing later on, what do you do with that space in between? It could be that you're not doing anything productive, or you're maybe procrastinating, or maybe you start thinking and doubting and feeling like, oh, does it even work? And that will put you further away from the goal. And that is what Grant Cardone talks about, is that the devil meets you, like the doubt and the scared and like all of that stuff, when there's white space. So if you just make sure that your calendar is fully booked, then you don't even have time to doubt. You don't even have time to worry or procrastinate, because you have to like think boom, 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 boom. So what we did, implementation, was, okay, cool. Here's my link. Let's put it everywhere. So like the team calling people, booking in, automation, booking in, landing pages everywhere. So literally everyone could just book into my calendar. I was booking into my calendar, and even to a point where I had double bookings. So it was like literally on one call and on one call, hoping that one wouldn't show up. It was like, like in that way. And also to the point that I was canceling all my lunches, canceling my dinners. I was like, okay, let's go. And results absolutely, they came 100%, and super beautiful results. We got to really serve people in the highest levels, and take on a lot of clients, which is good. But the downside of it is because then I was full on in that part, no white space whatsoever. But then obviously that's not sustainable. And I noticed that as well with my health, with my back pain and stuff like that. And that's the thing with me, right? That's what I was saying in the beginning. I'm always like super crazy, and like, all in, all in, all in. And then until it hits a point where it's like, wait a second, okay, I've tested this now, it works. Let me just dial it in a little bit and put more control. And that's also why the topic here is so important, because I gave away control. I still 100% believe in that thing, like the devil's in the white space, and just keep your calendar full, but you have to do it in a controlled manner. So that's when we shift and say, okay, we're going to have fixed time slots, at least in my calendar, fixed time slot for everything, so that there's room for the demos, there's room for cold calls, there's room for team meetings, there's room for lunch, there's room for myself, like all of this stuff, so that then it becomes a lot more sustainable. And then you can hit all the results that you want, and have good health, and have enough family time, and like everything. And that, now being in that phase, is a lot more enjoyable, and very, very, very productive, and very beautiful. So does that answer all the three parts of the question?
Yeah, it does. And Natalie says balance. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely balance. It does. And I wanted to point out that because what I've learned being a caregiver and doing FLC and trying to do it all at once, that you have to have that, like Natalie said, balance. You have to be able to keep your calendar full. You want no white space in there, but make sure you have those boundaries where you still maintain your own self-health and self-care as a priority, because without you, business doesn't run. You can't get anywhere if you are not 100% at your best. So you have to give 100% to yourself, and that means eating on time and eating properly, exercising, and that just leads right into the next topic, which was going to bed early. Now, I know that you, my beautiful Shivaria, have had some hard times with this one, and so what is it? Have you noticed a difference now that you've started going to bed earlier? Have you noticed a difference in your health and the business and being able to do that?
Yeah, definitely. It's been massive. And I must be completely honest as well. It's like, it's still sometimes where my excitement takes over, and I'm like, oh, I go to bed early. Oh, sorry, I wake up early. So now I wake up 6 o'clock. But I still have also some US clients that I want to call. And then sometimes I still go on the wrong side of the fence in a way. But definitely this has been a massive shift, because again, you're controlling time rather than just letting things happen. And I must say, I'm holding up my hand. It's still very much a learning process for me. And I guess that's always going to be the case, because whatever is the best version of my calendar right now is probably going to change again in the next few months, and then the next few months. And so it's always like dynamic, and that's good, right? You want to be flexible. Don't be rigid ever, because that's not good. But I think right now, having that more fixed time for things that are to keep living the good life and having that abundance in all areas of life is extremely beneficial, and I could recommend it to everybody. But I'm still on my learning curve as well, so my learning curve is going, but I do already notice the benefits from it. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think that, we're human beings. So, and we're trying to create, when we're doing business and starting a business and running it, we're trying to create something perfect. And we need to realize that being human beings, we need to keep somewhat flexible in everything, and realize that not everything's going to be perfect. There are going to be times when you can keep the schedule exactly the way it should be. And then there are going to be those times when you kind of go overboard and you get overexcited, and you either stay up too late or you get up too early, or, so there is a balance there. You just got to remember you're a human being, and the entire length of your life is going to be a learning experience. So you'll always have to work on stuff like that. So don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Even Grant Cardone says even the multimillionaires do it too. So it's just kind of, you just have to realize you're a human being living in a human world, and we have to go through those ups and downs.
100%.
Now, You say you get up at 6. Have you ever been the first one up in your neighborhood?
Oh wow. I
I
don't
can
know.
tell you I have. In fact, I would rather get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That's when I'll go out and wash my car and clean my yard out and pull weeds. Because
Wow.
I don't like other people watching me do it. It's not that I'm
Yeah.
doing anything wrong. It's just
Uh-huh.
me being self-conscious. And I kind of like being out when nobody else is out because the peace and quiet, and I just kind of be with me and nature. And so I will be up before everybody else in the neighborhood.
I love
It doesn't
that.
have to be at 1 a.m. anymore, but it still
Yeah,
takes
yeah.
pretty early.
I should take a ride there. That's an inside joke, you guys. Well,
Yeah.
it's like inside anecdote. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I do like to walk the dogs when it's early, so there's no other dogs out. So we
Yeah.
do tend to be the earliest dogs out, right? All the dogs. But I don't know if it's the earliest humans because they
Yeah.
might be awake, but I just don't see them. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, they say the early bird gets the worm, right? So you got to be up early and do stuff.
yeah.
Um, so you do keeping the next one is stay so busy you're running everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to be silly. My first initial thought is, can I drive places too? I don't want to run everywhere. I'm going to get tired. But
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that's what he meant.
Yeah.
That was my first response. So, and then there was another part that he brought up where when you're traveling someplace, if you're not like, obviously you want to travel safely and obey all the rules and laws and everything. But when
Yeah.
you're traveling and you can also be making calls and doing business.
Mhm.
Are those some things you do? Like, or do you, when you're going someplace, do you, yes, could, forgot what I was going to say.
It's all good. It's all good.
But when you're,
Sometimes we just have these inside thingies going on, so it's all
yeah.
good. Girls, we gotta have fun.
It's like, girl, you're kind of like
Yeah,
easily distracted.
yeah.
But
That's
when
okay.
you're going places, are you finding yourself rushing to go someplace else, and are you doing business as you're doing that?
Yeah. I used to, but not anymore, or at least I make it a priority to not do that because I funny fact, used to be late always, but now I really hate it to be late. Well, I don't want to use the word hate, but you shouldn't be late. So even today, when I was a little bit late on this live stream, I was like, I'm late. I'm like, no, I'm still logging in, but luckily there was a video. But yeah, I don't like it. It's in my opinion, not a nice and respectful thing to the other party. And I didn't used to see it that way when I was always late. I was like, well, it's okay, right? And then someone said that to me, and I was like, damn, yeah, that's true. So then it changed it completely. So now, even when traveling or going places, I always want to plan it such that I'm early, so that in that respect, I'm not really rushing. Um, I do sometimes rush on my own account, or I used to before I made the change in my schedule, meaning that I left too little time, too little white space to go from one meeting to the next, and then I found myself maybe rushing in the 5 minutes to quickly have a sandwich and then go to the next meeting. So, but then that wouldn't necessarily affect the other person, but it would just mostly affect myself. But also that's not ideal. So right now, I tend to have completely dialed it down. It's not perfect, obviously, but I try to not have to rush. And then when I'm on the road, I do business a lot, unless I get dizzy. And sometimes when I'm in the car, I get dizzy when I'm on my phone. So I'm just on my phone. I get dizzy, so I'm like, okay, put my phone away. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
basically
understandable.
the boundaries. Yeah.
That's understandable. Thank you so
How,
much
how
for
about you?
that.
How about you?
Me, I don't because I'm single.
Yeah.
I single because I live alone and I
Yeah.
drive myself everywhere. So safety reasons, I am obviously not on my phone unless I pull over or I stop someplace. Then I can do something and you'll see me in my car, but not while I'm driving. I won't. If I'm with somebody else and I get a text from a lead or somebody that I need to contact, then I will message them and do kind of pull myself aside and do what I got to do there because
Yeah.
I don't want to ignore anybody. So I will do that, but for the most part, I don't do too much business while I'm out because I am trying to not only respect the clients, but also the other people around me because I will get excited and have a tendency to hoo-ha-hoo in public. And then, I have to, you should
I
see
love
how many
that.
looks I get. I have my headphones on and I'll be in one of the stores and listening to like, either one of the challenges or one of your, videos or something. And then all of a sudden I'm hoo-ha-hoo and it's like,
I love that. That's so cool.
yeah. So I gotta watch what I'm doing. But so
Or
I'm
not
ready.
watch. Or
Huh?
not watch. Let
Huh?
them think you're crazy. Let them think
Yeah.
you're crazy.
I've heard it's okay. It's okay to have people
Yeah.
think I'm crazy. That just means I keep life interesting and I'm fun. That's what it
Yeah.
means.
I
So-
agree. I agree.
yeah. But it's like some of the big faces I wish I could have gotten pictures of the faces I've gotten, but it's just
It's funny.
it's all fun.
Oh,
Well,
can I just very quickly share one anecdote of where something like that happened to me? I don't know if you like Michael Jackson's music, but I absolutely love it, and I always like get the feeling to dance when I listen to his music. And then all of a sudden, one time I remember this was me still at university, and I used to take the bus. Well, I used to take a train, and I used to take a bus to go to university, 2.5 hour commute. But anyways, I went into the bus and then I had my headphones on, and all of a sudden, Michael Jackson song came up, and I think it was Jam. So and I was just doing this like out of nowhere and doing that, and someone was walking in. I was like, I was pretending to cough rather than doing this movement, and I was like, oh my god, that was so crazy. But it's
I've
like
done
so
that
right.
I've done that in stores, and I've even asked for the people looking at me, "Hey, you want to join? You want to dance too?" Just kind of. I'm like, no, I'm okay. It's like, okay, just asking, just having a good day here. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all
No,
good.
exactly. But we shouldn't be ashamed for any of those things. But it's funny because then you're doing something and then someone's looking, you're like, oh, hello. Or in that case, I was pretending to cough rather than like being myself, which I thought was funny in itself. But
Yeah,
it reminded me of that.
I get to where I start thinking about, I'm not going to be embarrassed about this because there are so many other people that do it too, and they think people aren't watching. So it's like, I'm just another crazy. It's okay.
Yeah. And crazy people are the people that change the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, they are. Well, Chabaria, I thank you so much for being on with us today. And Josie, we miss you. We love you so much. And I love having you on because although I see you all the time, there are so many questions I want to ask you because the fact that I think you're so powerful and I want to model what you do. I don't want to be exactly like you, but I do want to model like your business sense and there's a lot about you I would like to model. So without asking questions and knowing, then we really can't do that. And obviously we want to be able to take what you do.
at you.
Thank you. We also want to make it our own, right?
Yeah.
So and I can't wait to have you on again soon. Like I am so excited.
Let's make that happen.
Absolutely.
Also, let's meet in person soon.
Absolutely. I'm waiting for that. I'm like, whew. I've just been waiting for you to be unbusy. So I'm like, hey, okay.
Yeah. I can't wait for that either. That's going to be awesome. Really, really awesome. Like for you guys watching this, Misty and I, we work so closely together, but we've never met each other in person. That's so weird. So weird. But I feel like I've known you for years and years and years. It's really crazy.
Yeah, I was sitting there talking to my sister. No, I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone yesterday. And I'm like, I don't know where I want to go first. Should I plan on going to the UK to meet my mentor there, or should I wait till she's in Dubai and then go there? She goes, why would you want to go to the UK? No wonder why your mentor wants out of there. Have you watched the news? It's like, I don't watch TV. No. I don't care about what's happening over there. I care about going to see my mentor and seeing, where she's at and that stuff. I don't care about what everybody else is doing. I just want to do our thing,
Yeah,
so,
exactly. FLC Core Fam get together. Let's go.
Yes. Okay, so Are you ready for the video?
Yes, I'm ready. Born ready. Thank you so much
Awesome.
for this beautiful episode. And everybody, if you haven't already, comment below roadmap because this lady is going to hit you up and give you the best gift on planet Earth. So you do not want to miss out.
Absolutely.
Comment below.
Yes. The roadmap is like $1 million. And then another gift that Chubaria has is even more than that. So you guys need this. Comment. Even if you have questions, anything at all you want to say, let us know. We'll get back to you.
Nice.
So with that being said, I'm going to play the video and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Oh, and by the way, next week is going to be amazing too. We're going to have Seb on. So it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Be sure to be there live. You guys want to know what he has to say. Just as much as you want to know what Chubaria has to say, you want to know what Seb has to say and what he has to share. It's going to be so fire.
It's gonna be lit.
Absolutely lit. Everybody bring your own bombs. It's going to be going. I was like,
love it.
With that being said, here we go into the video. Bye, guys.
Closing is always easy when you're in Cardone U. We role play with Grand Cardone's team. They know just what to do. They're always there to support us. We couldn't ask for more. On our way in the right direction, we found what we're looking for. In FLC, in FLC. Closing is better with appointment setters. You'd better believe we're not a team but a family. We work together in harmony. We are devoted, and that you can quote me in FLC. We welcome the newbies gladly. We know there's so much to learn. We've got your back for a lifetime. There's no need for concern. Just look at the world around you. There's deals to close everywhere. And if you face an objection, what would Jabari say? In FLC, in FLC, objections are easy. If you don't believe me, I have to agree. We can role play at any time. To disagree, that is a crime. We're practicing to get the cha-chings in FLC. In FLC. Since we started training, our leads ain't complaining. They're so happy. We get to role play with Big Brother Dave. We've got Coach Sean, the best coach ever born in FLC. All of our closers, they keep their composure. 10x is the goal, Uncle G, well he knows. We've got the spirit, and you've got to hear it. We're FLC.